and welcome to the Connected Spotlight Athlete Podcast. This is Coach Anthony Williams, President and CEO of Connected Athletics. We're excited, and first want to thank our sponsor, Buffalo Wild Wings, who's not only sponsoring the school and the player that we're about to hear from St. Thomas Catholic, but also supports this podcast, giving student athletes a chance to tell their story in their own words. We've got a very exciting student athlete on the podcast with us tonight. He is a receiver right now that is tearing it up for the undefeated St. Thomas Eagles. They're having a great season. They're ranked in the top 3 in the state right now, and looking forward to a deep run in the playoffs. But I want to let him tell him more about himself. So Luke, first, thanks for coming on the podcast. Start off by telling us name, school, position, grad year, and go from there.
Yeah, my name is Luke Edgecomb. I'm a 2024 slot receiver, wide out, whatever I want, at St. Thomas High School. And yeah.
Well, Luke, I'll tell him also, you're also a pretty good baseball player playing center field. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, sir. I've played baseball since I was 3 years old. Started out a middle infielder, but kind of transitioned to center field in high school and stuck there ever since. It's awesome. Translates well between football and baseball.
Yeah, as a father who raised 3 student athletes that played football and baseball, when I watched your huddle video, it definitely stands out. I can watch a player in one quarter and tell them what sport that kid plays. And the reason I bring that up is in your case, when I watched your huddle video, you win a lot of 50-50 balls because you know how to track the ball like a baseball, which playing outfield is not easy because a lot of guys say, oh, I could play it, and they have balls going over their head when they're charging it. But your baseball skills definitely translate to football, and I'm sure they kind of help each other out. But yeah, your skills are next level. Hey, let's jump right in and get to know more about you. Obviously, social media is a big impact today in recruiting and just life in general. Tell us how does social media impact your journey right now as a student athlete?
Yeah, so social media, there's lots of negative, connotations about it, especially for like young kids, teenagers, athletes, especially, because of how much it can harm you. But, especially Twitter or X, I guess now, I've really seen like the benefits of it and how social media is really able to like reach out another platform. For example, this interview never would have happened without social media. Connecting with coaches through DMs, text messages, and just putting out my highlights every week. Just stuff like that. Obviously you have to be careful about what you're looking at, what you're posting, who you're following, what you're liking. But overall, if you just be yourself and do a good job at it, social media is great. It really, really helps out in the recruiting process.
Luke, you bring up a great point. All things that are new are good and bad. It depends on your mindset and how you use them. I'm like you. I love social media because of the positive impact I can use and have outside of Texas. But there are people on there that use it for different things, and I don't focus on those people. I like to be more positive and kind of be a light in a dark world. So it sounds like you have the same mindset. You mentioned something in your discussion in your response to social media, how you've been interacting with coaches. Tell the audience, who have you heard from? You already got a couple offers. Tell us where you are right now in recruiting.
Yeah, so I currently have offers from Butler University, Valparaiso University, and Colorado School of Mines. All 3 great options. My recruitment's still open 100% right now. I'm just kind of trying to weigh what my best options are, what school fits me best, and still lighting it up on the field. So gonna see what other options come by. We still got a long season, long playoffs ahead of us. So yeah.
Okay, good stuff. The big part of being a student athlete, as you know, Luke, is how you balance academics, getting your schoolwork done, practice, film study, looking at your scouting report, personal time with your family, hanging out with your friends. Maybe you have a girlfriend. Tell us, how do you balance your academics and all the things that make up who you are on and off the field?
Yeah, so really, for me, it's time management because, St. Thomas, we're a college preparatory high school, so we don't take academics lightly at all. And, we got morning lifts, so I'm there before school. And so it's really about just spending all the time I have to do my homework, to do extra work, to get it done, to get ahead of my work for the next week. We'll start practice at 4:30 or 5, in school at 3:10. So I've got, around an hour in there to get some work done. And really just locking in and focusing, right when I get home, I got to get to work, eat dinner, get my homework done, and then I can, watch the Astros or whatever's going on. But yeah, just when I have free time on Saturday, get my homework done before I do anything else, or Sundays, just really put in that extra work.
I like it. Balancing is everything. I've noticed as you guys have continued to win and being undefeated this year, congratulations, as your crowds are getting bigger. People are jumping on the bandwagon. Every athlete, when I played back in the day and when I coach, everybody loves playing in front of a big audience, a big, stadium packed with fans who are cheering you on. Tell us, as a student athlete, how do you give back to the community that is supporting you on Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays? What are you and your teammates doing to give back to, whether it's the young ones or the elderly? What are you doing to give back to the St. Thomas community?
Yeah, so we've as athletes, sometimes people struggle to find things that they're passionate about to give back. So I've kind of found that Challenger Sports is something that I really am passionate about. If you don't know what Challenger is, it's an organization that has football, baseball, basketball, all sorts of sports for all different age groups of kids or adults who have special needs or physical, mental disabilities, and it just gives them an opportunity to play the sport that they may love. So, for example, last week at halftime of our JV football game, the whole varsity team hosted Challenger football, and just run up and down the field, score touchdowns with them. But it's just a great time seeing the kids smile. Yeah, there's nothing really better. I also help out with my church community a lot. I go to First Presbyterian Church. It's in the Museum District here in Houston. And yeah, just helping out with events for middle schoolers or just doing really anything that I can to volunteer. It's great.
I like it. No, that's a big part of giving back is doing the things for the young ones, and you never know who you're going to impact. There's probably some kid you may not remember who's going to say, "Man, I want to be like Luke when I get to high school and play like him." So it's positive, and it's great that you're doing that. As I mentioned when we started out, Buffalo Wild Wings is our sponsor. They're not only sponsoring this podcast, but they're also donating money back to your football program from people who go on the restaurant and mention your school. I sent you a list. Tell us on this podcast. Buffalo Wild Wings has all these different sauces for the wings. Which sauce best describes you as a player?
First I got to give a shout out to my head coach, Coach McGuire. Big Buffalo Wild Wings fan. He calls it the office away from the office, but I was thinking about it a little bit because I'm more of a if I'm just gonna go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I'll probably get lemon pepper or teriyaki, but my game, I would say more something like mango habanero. You got a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy. Kind of mix it up in there. Lots of different aspects to my game. High football IQ. I feel like I take pride in that. Being able to get myself open and make adjustments to my routes and have that chemistry with my quarterback. But yeah, and then also having the twitchiness after the catch, make something happen.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with your assessment on the sauce and your assessment as a player. As I evaluate players for the All-American game and all the other events, you nailed it. Definitely understand the route tree, understand about the game within the game. Sometimes the route breaks down, quarterback's got to leave the pocket, and you make yourself available. You're great after the catch. As I said earlier, you win 50-50 balls. And once you do catch the ball, you become a problem on the defense. So a very accurate assessment for those college coaches that maybe haven't seen your huddle video yet. Tell us a little bit about, every receiver, you have goals as a receiver. You want to have a certain number of receptions and TDs and yardage after the catch and things like that. How do you balance that with your team goals of going deep in the playoffs and trying to have the best season you can right now?
Yeah, so at the beginning of the season, recruiting is kind of slow. You're kind of really focused on, having a good season, but at the same time, you want to have a full season of your great individual success. And, so, I had all these lofty goals like, I want 1,200 receiving yards and 15 touchdowns and first team all state and all that. But I started to realize as the season goes on, like stats are not really relevant. When the team is clicking, it just clicks. So like some weeks, first week of the season, I had 245 yards and 4 touchdowns, but that allowed second game of the season, my all-star receiver, Larry Benton, he had 5 touchdowns and over 200 yards. So it's just like, really focusing on the team aspect right now because I've been starting on varsity since my sophomore year and I've seen upsets in the playoffs. We've gotten upset every single year I've been here. And we're just ready to finally make it happen this year and win it with my boys.
You bring up a good point. When you have success against good football teams, You don't see the same defense the following week. As a former receiver, when I played in high school, oh, what? Wait, now they're putting a safety on top of me over here, and you have to kind of adjust things. And it really can't be about stats. Good college coaches know how to evaluate that. If you're being double teamed, you must be that guy. And so your numbers may be down, but it shows that, hey, that guy, that's somebody that the team is actually scheming against. And if it helps out another one of your receivers to help out the team win, it all makes sense. So you have a great attitude about that, and I definitely respect that in you. Tell us a little bit about, the thing I love about football, Luke, is that it allowed me to get to know people of different backgrounds, different races, maybe different religions. Tell us how being on your team, how has it helped you get to know guys with different backgrounds and become friends with them?
Yeah, so obviously, private school, some people don't get the best like mindset about what it's really like culture wise, but we have like a variety of cultures, especially because we're a Catholic school.
Mm-hmm.
There's kids there from all different types of cultures, and then on the football team as well. We're actually very diverse, especially from a private school standpoint. Um, and so really being on a team with people from all different types of backgrounds has kind of opened my eyes up. I really feel like made me a better person, just being able to talk more fluently with other people, and just being a more open person to all different types of people, all different types of backgrounds. And yeah, it's a great experience being here.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I understand that. Hey, you've been a good athlete. You play baseball, you play football. You've been doing this for a long time. Every player has a play where they think back, like, yeah, man, back in youth football or middle school or sub varsity, I had this one play. Think back over your career. What's one play you think back and smile to yourself, like, yeah, I did that?
It's funny. So the one play that I like the best, is my sophomore year or my freshman year. Actually, it was my freshman year. Um, as a freshman, you're so worried about winning district as like a freshman, which like in the end, like no one really cares about. But it was me and my friend Marquise, we were only allowed to play 2 quarters of the freshman game because we had to be fresh, and you're only allowed to play 6 quarters and taps in like a week. So they're saving us for JV and stuff. But our freshman team was down 3 points with like a minute to go. We had the ball on our own 1 yard line. And Marquise and I were sitting with the JV kids because we had gotten pulled out the game, and they put us back in the game. And I ended up having a one-hand catch for a touchdown to win the game. And that memory just with all your freshman friends, that's super exciting. Other than that, my sophomore year, I was injured in the beginning of the season, and I thought I wasn't gonna get to play varsity. I was just gonna be a JV player when I got back. Got back from injury, and I had taken the time to learn every position on the field while I was injured. And so I came back, and our tight end, our slot receiver got injured, so I tight end went to slot, and they just threw me in the game at tight end, which I'd never repped in practice before. Ended up scoring a touchdown on my first varsity play ever, and so it was just super cool experience.
People forget that a big part of being an athlete, specifically a successful athlete, is dealing with injuries. You've been hurt, you mentioned, as a sophomore, and tell this audience, what is it like to be an elite player and deal with injuries and still stay locked in even on games where you can't play because you have an injury? What's that like? Explain it in your words.
Yeah, so I feel like for me, it was finding something that I could do to just get better every day and to stay locked in with the team. I feel like that's the most important part is still staying dedicated even though you're injured. I was a sophomore, um, and so I would do simple stuff like I was the ball boy for every game. And, that's a small thing, but the coaches really appreciate it when there's a ball already on the field when they're yelling for one. And like I said, I learned all 4 receiver positions, and even the quarterback read. So I knew what the progressions were, why we were running different routes, and just working on stuff that you can work on. My shoulder was hurt, so I did a ton of speed work and really made myself faster. Worked with the receiver trainer, Coach Kerry Johnson, Sweet Feet, and just perfected my craft of route running. So when I got back, I was ready to, put it all together.
Nice. That's a great story. That's exactly how you should handle it. Hey, as we finish up here, tell us, I always say as a former player and coach, there's different athletes in how they get ready in pregame. Some of them like to really get hyped and put the headphones on, and some of them are in the corner just kind of going through the plays, closing their eyes, going, which player are you in pregame?
Yeah, so when I was younger, I used to be kind of the guy that would really be getting myself locked in, going over my plays just because I wanted to, not mess up for the older kids. But now that I'm a senior and I've been in this offense for a while, I'm more of the hype type. Like to listen to music before the games, get bumping on the speaker. And yeah, I just get hype. Like you said earlier, the fans coming out, just love the whole atmosphere. I'm just trying to soak in the last few games of my senior season before I got to go to college.
Nice. There's in every student athlete's journey, Luke, I think you'd agree, there's always somebody or some people who have made a difference in their lives. Could be a teacher, a coach, parents, your family, a grandfather. Shout out right now, who has helped you get to this point now as a senior that you'd like to kind of say, hey, thank you? Because there was a time when I was a freshman and I didn't take my studies serious, or at the time before I got hurt, I thought I was a man and a coach showed me I didn't, and I had to work on my route running. Who would you like to shout out right now, somebody that's really helped you in your journey as a student athlete?
Obviously, my parents, first of all, just being super supportive of, my whole sports career. It started when I was a kid, and some parents wouldn't let other kids play tackle football, but my parents would let me do it because I loved it and just support me and always being there. And, not always being helicopter parents, but being parents that support me and give me the foundation that I need. And also, the St. Thomas coaches are special. You can't really find high school coaches like them anywhere else. I feel like Coach McGuire, great head coach, great guy. He really cares about the players more than anything. Like he'll text you and be like, "Come to my office now." And usually, if you get a text like that from a head coach, something's wrong. And you'll walk in there, he'll be like, "Hey, I ordered an extra Chick-fil-A sandwich. You want it?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then just my receiver coaches, Coach Connor, Coach KJ, Coach McDaniels, turning me into the receiver I am now. I went into high school as a running back, so it was a full transformation. Just made great links since the start of high school.
Awesome. Well, hey, as we finish up here, as I mentioned, Buffalo Wild Wings being our sponsor, they're not just sponsoring this podcast, but they're also giving money back to the football program there at St. Thomas. So just a reminder to all the fans of your school, when you go into your local Buffalo Wild Wings there on Washington Ave, mention the school's name. 10% of your bill throughout the season goes back to the Booster Club, goes back to the football program. Take a minute right now, Luke, to kind of thank Buffalo Wild Wings for this opportunity and for supporting the football program the way they do.
Yeah, Buffalo Wild Wings, we love you. Coach McGuire loves you. As you know, he's in there all the time. It's the office away from the office, like I said earlier. We just appreciate the support, from a high school. Not everyone's getting Buffalo Wild Wings to support their high school, and to get us just new equipment and stuff that we need to have a fluid season. We just really appreciate it.
Luke, awesome interview. You did a great job. Good luck the rest of the way. Stay healthy, and let's see you guys make a deep run into the TAPS playoffs, man. Good luck this week, and we'll see you soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.